Spirit of Cajun, feeling right. Turning up this podcast night. Dance to the rhythm, let it flow. Here comes the ripple effect, let's go.
Welcome to the...
It's the ripple effect, everybody.
Welcome, everybody.
What's going on,
Thank you.
fellas?
Yeah, good day, good day.
Raymond, welcome Raymond Stover. Hi, Ray.
Hey, thank you, Noah. Noah Cease.
Noah Cease. Gene Grosset.
Yeah, buddy.
Let's go.
What's going on, guys?
All right, well, Ray and I have known each other for... It's a
2015?
long time. Long time. No, it was,
Oh, no,
it was way
2007.
before 2015. So I started with Touchstar Software in 2002. It was late 2002, November, December, somewhere in that range. And then I was employee number 6 or 7, if I recall right. And then Ray came in employee 9, I believe. I think he was right after me, or 2 after me, one or the other. But so Raymond and I worked at this company called Touchstar Software, right? Touchstar Software installed what they call TDM dialers or T1 interface dialers all over the world, right? In the UK, India, France, South America, Central America.
And what do
everywhere.
those things do?
These are
Just
they're
some-
call center machines that organize call information,
Oh.
right? So if you call inbound to Chase, for example, it's coming into a server, and that server's got an interface card, and that interface card's got T1s in it that plug into the telephone system of our country.
All right.
All the phone numbers are associated to these plugs that come into the box. And then engineers like us will put in rules and say, okay, if it's calling in on this particular number, route to this group of people, they can help you with your credit card. Okay.
All right.
It's called routing system.
Right.
Right. Does call recording, does a bunch of other stuff too. Like it'll pull up customer information in the CRM. But you'll know exactly who you're talking to, what the conversations were you had 6 months ago were, right? So credit card companies are a great example because they have a long history of call information, history of a customer, and then all the interactions with that customer, right? So if it's somebody like a human being's on the phone, you can make decisions like this guy wants to pay his bill, but last 3 times is checked in clear, right? Stuff
Right.
like that. So these call systems are very sophisticated and have helped, who knows, millions and millions of people on a weekly basis either get customer support or find a product or service they didn't know they needed, or car warranty. No, not that one. That's the bad one. And then card member services is also the bad
All
one.
right.
But
And so this was almost what? So you guys met almost 20 years ago, huh? 18?
Yeah.
It's 2025.
I think it was 03.
What?
I think it was 2003 I met this guy, 2004 maybe.
I didn't do my background research on our.
That's okay, man. It
Oh,
was
so further than that, huh?
He did. So we've known each other 20 years,
Yeah.
and we've come and gone in business together. Like he left Touchstar, I was asked to leave Touchstar. Actually, he stayed with Touchstar through some of the merger, right? And then you went to a different competitor. You were W2 with that competitor, and then again a third competitor, right? And then Raymond found himself kind of having conversations again, and I was like, "What do you think about doing my Call Cloud stuff?" You know, he knows a lot of people. We know a lot of stuff. We know a lot of engineering. So I started my Call Cloud in my basement, right, in 2011 with $800 and 2 used servers, or 8 used servers I bought off Craigslist. I racked them in the colo. But before that, I actually had 2 servers that were running 2 different call centers, right? And, I would download a movie, and all of a sudden they wouldn't get voice quality. And they would call me, hey, my voice is messed up. I'm like, okay, it'll be 38 seconds. Just wait. It'll clear up. Like, what? So anyway, we got ourselves into our first colo location, our first data center in 2012. And after that, we just slowly grew. And then Ray has been with us. I think it's 8 years, Ray. I think it's 8 years. So
Yep, here at Mount
2016, 2017, somewhere in that time frame, Ray hopped on. And ever since, we've been growing slow and having a lot of fun and creating incredible solutions,
Right.
database.
Yeah, this is fun. Like
Yeah.
I said before we got started, I was like, this is the side of business and relationships that too many times nowadays people don't see, right? Because we
Yeah.
see social media and, you know, everyone sees the cars and the planes and the houses.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what I mean? And the views and everything. And they, you know, they're always trying to sell you a business. We'll just, you know, plug and play. Come on in. We'll build you a business. But what they don't, you know, tell you is like, this is what it takes to really have a business.
Yeah.
You know, backgrounds, relationships. You actually have tools in that tool chest that you've developed throughout the years that you can offer a service and actually provide
Exactly.
you know, meaningful solutions to people. Man, I think that's cool. You know, like
It is cool.
people don't, like, these younger generations don't hear these stories. You know, they don't
Yeah.
see this side of it. It's like the dark side of the moon, man. Nobody sees this side of business anymore, because all we see is, you know, the
planes.
influencers. Yeah. And like, yeah, you know, this other side, they're selling them a dream. So I'm real eager, you know, I want to hear a little more, you know what I mean? Even though I know you guys and I know what you do, I don't know, you know, the details. Obviously I didn't know your relationship. That's super cool, man.
Yeah, so we right now currently we've got about 160 servers down in Denver.
Right.
So that was a good little grow over the last 13, 14 years. We've put together a nice array of equipment, and that equipment does things like listens to phone calls, routes them to the correct location, pops up a screen on an agent workstation in Costa Rica or Honduras or Denver or wherever that person is logged in. So sort of during this process of building my call cloud, I've known people in my past, like Ray, like Shad, my business partner, like Matt Scott, like Paul Otayo, and the other engineers that we have that are in the Philippines right now. I didn't know, but Paulo did, right? So these relationships branch out into secondary or tertiary relationships, and people that we can trust and build software and build solutions and work out complex issues, automate all kinds of weird, difficult things like FTP, information in and out, and reports. Stuff that is probably way too complicated for the audience that we address, but I think if a nerd runs across this conversation, he'll appreciate it, or she will.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Super cool.
So we do that. So we put all this server hardware in. Raymond reaches out, or people reach out to Raymond, depending on what we're talking about, or social media stuff that we put on, or if we do a little ad campaign in Google Ads, then Ray might get some soft leads. Otherwise, it's a lot of Ray's relationships at this point, just reaching out, saying hello. Do you remember me from 10 years ago?
Right.
How's your call center? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, let's expand a little bit on that. Like, what's Ray's backstory? Yeah. Again.
My backstory. Well, my backstory was, you know, I was looking for an opportunity, a vehicle to help my wife with real estate and help with her real estate leads. And I'm like, my buddy Noah has access to a dialer. I hadn't really been following so close. I didn't realize you had grown your business so much.
You're quiet.
And yeah, so then from there, you know, you would ask me, Ray, what are you doing for lunch today?
Yeah.
And that was pretty much it. You know, we go and have lunch together, have some beers together.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a dive bar, and you know,
Tail feathers.
That's right. And
Really?
Yeah, buddy.
That's where the deals are made right
That's
there.
a
where they're made,
classy
bud.
joint. And you know, the rest is history, right? You know, quality of life, get to sleep well at night. You know, there's so many of our clients. I've seen so many of them come from large corporations that provide these dialer services. And they get the runaround. They don't get that personal attention. Sort of like you were saying, that small town look and
Boutique.
feel. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you get the custom solutions that you need without the corporate pricing, the corporate overhead, and all the corporate
Run around.
excess. I was going to say another.
Right. Yeah, we're familiar with that.
Yeah,
You know,
long-term
I think-
contracts.
I think everyone nowadays, in some way, shape, or form, is familiar with that type of service. You know.
Yeah,
Whether
they
It's
are.
like, you know, you call anywhere nowadays, and it's going to be you know, AI generated responses.
Yeah.
You know, there's no human interaction anymore, or human feel to
Right.
anything. You know, so. And what year was that? When did you guys reconnect for my call?
Yeah,
Cloud?
2015, 2016.
All right, so that was that
All right.
15, 16 mark.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know, so many of the clients, you know, it's like, I'm so glad I came here. I'm so glad, you know, you reached out or we found you, because it's like a breath of fresh air over here. You know, call support. And there's somebody there that picks
Real
up
people.
the phone. Real people, exactly.
Yeah.
Real people, real solutions. You know, when we get down to business, roll up our sleeves. We don't have to charge extra overhead. We don't have, you know, big corporate budgets that we have to maintain.
Right.
You know, we make sure that it happens for everyone.
And how's your growth been? I mean, you said, you know, it started off, you know,
Yeah, I would
2
say.
servers. Now you up to
I mean,
how many?
if we're looking at year to year, you know, we're probably 10 to 12% growth. It's pretty stable. Sometimes a little higher, sometimes a little lower, but
Right.
on average about 10 to 12%. So that growth rate for servers was probably, it followed probably pretty close to suit. Actually, we stayed a little bit above growth related to hardware that we had in place ready to put customers in. So
Considering, you know, like with the new, you know, with the elections and everything, do you guys see any negatives or positives to moving forward? You know, there's a lot of companies right now that are worried about, you know, whatever it is, tariffs,
Right.
prices, and stuff like that. In your situation, like in your industry, do you see any negatives or positives right now coming into 2025? Are you?
Great question. We saw a little bit of a slowdown right before the election. And I thought it was really surprising. I don't know, Noah,
I
what
agree.
your thoughts, but it's like right after the election, there was like no big mass chaos. And next thing you knew, the phone was ringing and people were like, hey, I need to set up a new system. Hey, I need to set up a new system. And right now, right, we're in the beginning of 2025. And it looks like people are, you know, there's some new laws that are coming into effect, right? There's the one-to-one
there's
Contact.
marketing rules that are going into play
All right.
that are going to affect some outcomes for some of our customer base.
All right.
That's what he's talking about.
Yeah, and I think that there's some people that are holding back. They're waiting to see once the Trump administration takes over what's going to happen in the business world.
Yeah.
And I think some people are just playing it close to their chest. They're not
Right.
making any big decisions because purchasing or subscribing with a call center solution provider, it's a core decision for your business oftentimes because that call center solution, it drives the calls in or out, and a lot of people I think are just holding back right now. But my prediction is 1 month from now the phone's going to be ringing again. We're going to be ramping up more
Yeah.
clients.
Yeah.
Right. And typically this time of year anyway, I mean, it's usually, you know, in the year, people see a slowdown. There's always like, you know, it depends on what industry, obviously. Like
Sure.
if you're, you know, sales and stuff like that, Christmas boots sales and in the year, but, you
Right.
know, coming into this new year, you know. But yeah, that's cool. I mean, as long as, you know,
It is cool.
there's no you don't see any huge negatives on the horizon.
I don't think so.
I'm just always curious. I'm like, you know, there's some people that are, you know, right, moving forward. It's an exciting time for a lot of businesses, but a lot of uncertainty for others. You know,
Yeah.
like you said, there's new regulations coming in.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was like. I guess it did answer my question. Like,
Well,
there's-
you know, another one of the big threats too is automation, just AI and
Yeah.
chatbots and that kind of stuff. Here's the thing: is that human element is still baked in and can still be noticed by another human.
right.
Right. So until they get past the Turing test, right, and you can't tell whether that's a human or not on the other end,
Right.
then you're still going to have humans taking phone calls on the phone. And we might have another 15 or 20 years of that.
Oh yeah,
Maybe longer.
I have no doubt. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
again, like you said, that human touch. It's gonna be hard for people to. We still have another generation or two
Yeah.
that it's gonna be really hard for them to just completely pull away from that. That's what they
exactly.
expect. That's what they're used to. That's what you're born and raised on. And again, that AI, it doesn't have the same feel.
Right.
You know, it'll give you the runaround if you're not really specific.
Until you give
You know,
up.
if you don't know how to navigate that, like even these chatbots, it's like, man, if you don't know how to navigate it,
It's tough.
you don't get the answers you're looking for. It's frustrating. People give up. Maybe that's the point. Maybe they want them to give up. Maybe
Yeah.
customer service works better when you don't have to provide a service. You know?
Well, the good chatbots will be able to manage 60%, 70%, eventually 80% of all the calls. And then for the consumers that don't want to talk to that AI bot or they're dissatisfied,
Right.
they're going to get barged out and, you know, pushed over to the live agents, the real
Oh,
people.
I've always kind of wondered that. So that's because like when you deal with these automated services and stuff like that, I'm like, at what point does it actually give me access, you know,
Yeah.
to a customer service rep, like a human customer
You
service
actually
rep?
have to say. talk to a
Sometimes
human.
like, oh my God, it's just on, and yeah, and then you get all frustrated. Like, man, I couldn't even get an actual person. So you think soon it'll be up to 80%, and then, you know, what it can't tackle and get through, then they'll send you on.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the Fortune 500 have deep pockets, and they can afford to, spend a lot of money to build quality AI bots to help screen through that 60, 70%. They're going to be leading the charge.
Right.
The small, medium-sized businesses, they're going to lag behind, and that's our sweet spot in the industry.
True.
And we're starting to see some early adopters, and it's just that, right? Use AI just for some bulk, get the message out, or, help manage the mass of recordings or the mass of calls that are coming in. And there's a place for it, but not quite ready for prime time.
Right. Yeah, not quite. Not quite.
And to answer your question, if you're calling in, right, just like you said, Noah, say human or representative. Say representative 3 times, and it should barge you out and get you to the
Right.
queue of real
Well,
humans.
but that's the secret sauce, right?
How
there.
to
Now,
navigate the IVR.
it's a weird time, man.
Put all your
Just-
chips on red. You don't know. Do I press 0? Is it going to get me anywhere? Sometimes it goes
Man.
nowhere. There's nobody available to help you.
Yeah, and
Goodbye.
then you're right back where you started. That's
Yeah.
the thing. It's like, what
10
did I
minutes in,
press?
you got to call back.
It's a in some ways like, oh, what a fun time, right?
Yeah.
Everything's automated and it's efficient. But then I'm telling you, man, I think about my grandmother. She's 92. I'm like, what's it like when she gets on with these AI bots? You
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
Like, how do you navigate this, man?
Right.
It's almost impossible.
She's like,
Oh,
"What-
but you guys just
what did
told
you
the secret.
say? Hello?
Ask for a
Ask for a human.
representative. Yeah.
Human being.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Human. And then all of a sudden, one moment, we'll
Yeah.
transfer you.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Or £0, like
Oh, really?
press 0 to talk to an operator. So a lot of the old systems would plan in for when people get impatient, every single call menu item, every element, all the recordings that you hear, all of them will have a £0 option, typically.
Typically.
Unless we're designing them. Then we'll just loop you back again. Oh,
Welcome
I'm
to
sorry,
the
we
main
didn't
menu.
understand your response. Please
That's
try
the
again.
thing.
Please try
It
again.
loops you back.
So how to navigate the IVR system is kind of a little bit of a industry secret, right? So maybe some people will catch this, maybe they won't, but we'll see.
There you go.
Mhm.
You got a little secret on here.
Little secrets.
So what's on the horizon though for My Call Cloud? I know I asked about the growth, but I mean, you guys working on, maybe not top secret. I don't want to know your
Yeah.
the industry secrets, but I mean,
No, all is good. We have a new agent script building tool that's coming to market. Pretty much fills any request that the call centers are asking us for. It's been vetted out by a couple of call centers now, so it's doing the difficult stuff such as the APIs and the lookups and
the hang-ups,
logic behind the scenes, and
searching
the
for
routing.
things.
Yeah, where should this call be routed? Because it can collect information along the way, and then it can make decisions later on based on the information that's been collected by that agent. And the agent doesn't have to really use their brain other than to ask the questions and select the right response. And then behind the scenes, that script makes the decision. Where does this call get transferred to? All they have to do is hit the transfer button. As long as the administrator properly built the script, off that consumer goes to the right location.
and is this something that you guys are building in-house? These tools you're developing through your own IT team?
Mm-hmm.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
See, these are the things. I'm like, when we talk about these companies nowadays, like you can go on social media and they'll build you a Shopify store, right? Products are there. It's, buy this store. It's like, dude, people don't realize.
There's a
Like
lot of
as you
effort.
grow and you want to evolve, you know what I mean? These are the things that you have to do.
But it's doable.
And it's doable.
Yeah.
But you have to have those, again, the tools. You guys
Yeah.
have the tools in your tool chest to, if you can't do it, then you know what it takes to get it done. You know the resources you need to get that done. Man, these are things that I don't think the next generation coming up, they don't realize this,
Yeah.
or they're not teaching this in school, right? We're all taught to be a cog in a machine. You're going to perform a task, but this entrepreneurial, way of thinking is just not, it's not broad. You know what I mean? They don't encourage it in school.
I know.
And so a lot of when I look at these companies that are for sale and I see it on social media, I'm thinking, man, how many thousands of people buy them? And then what?
Yeah.
What do you do then?
Yeah.
You don't even know, you got to write copy, like in your eye, but marketing, they have to write copy, they have to constantly keep up with it.
Yeah.
Look at your business. You know, you've grown over the years, but you're developing tools. You know, it's like, you know, I've been involved, like seeing other companies grow throughout the years, and they developed their own shopping carts before Shopify was around, before all these. You'd have to build these things to like suit your business, and that was a huge investment. You know, but once it was done, you could sell that company.
That's right.
Because these services weren't there. There wasn't a plug and play. You know.
Cart management.
Oh man.
Yeah, and that's tricky. Those carts
You
were
know.
tricky. I remember when Yahoo had a shopping site. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And you could do a shopping cart through Yahoo. Yeah, that didn't last very long, did it?
Yeah.
And they're a gigantic behemoth.
Yeah.
With tons of money.
But it's hard, you know, to develop these things that are customized to
Mm-hmm.
your, you know, obviously like to your company. You're building it. These are things that people don't see from the
I know.
outside. You know, if you're not in it, and even people that work for companies don't realize the big picture. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing this for? Everybody's got a task, and you know, you're all putting something into the puzzle. In the end, you come out with the end of the puzzle, right? This picture. It's like people don't realize this.
Well,
you
it's
know?
like it's like a lot of customers. You know, they'll have similar challenges, right? And that's really cross industry. It's oil and gas, it's construction, it's paving, it's software design, it's engineering. But there's always these challenges that are pretty common, right? So if you start to build tools that manage some common challenges that can service thousands of customers, then you have an asset of value of the company that you can bring to market.
Right.
And really honestly offer a true service or product that multiple people can use. Like, for example, about 8 years ago, right before Ray came on, I wrote the first web phone for this open source platform and then gave it to the community. And then we got reached by lots of people domestically, and then a partner in Germany reached out and said, hey, we would like this. Can you install this for us? So stuff like that, you know.
And elaborate. What's a web phone?
So the web phone is like you have WhatsApp on your phone, right? It's not a real phone,
Right.
right? It's a software telephone, right? And that software telephone can exist in the browser. So you can just go to a web browser and now
application,
your phone
yeah.
is right there,
Yeah.
right? So when an agent logs in, they'll get a connect to that phone. Now, Vicidal, the open source community, took that project and eventually rewrote it themselves on a different platform, a different back end, and those types of things. But I kind of pushed their hand to do that.
Right.
Because now people are like, oh, we'll just use Noah's thing and SIP-ML5 and whatever. But eventually they were like, we better just release it
Right.
to the community. So they did. So they released their web phone, which probably millions and millions of human beings use on a daily basis today.
Dude, that's what's cool about that community too. Like the tech community and IT, and just their willingness. You know what I mean? To like, anytime somebody develops something, it's like, look, you guys check this out.
Yeah.
Put this out there. See how that works.
GitHub.
Yeah.
GitHub. So we were running a call share or office share up in Henderson, Colorado, and this guy from Microsoft shows up. Remember that guy? So he was only here for the summer, July and August, and he rode his bike from Thornton across 104th to the office share in Henderson. So 104th and Highway 85, at that little Bell Creek neighborhood there.
Yeah.
And they were in the midst of buying GitHub. So GitHub is a repository of open softwares that exist throughout the world, and there's developers can contribute whatever they want to GitHub. Our audio switcher, video switcher runs on software that came from GitHub. Okay. So this guy was smart enough to craft into the APIs for Blackmagic, tie in all that stuff. Anyway, this guy comes to hide out in Colorado because he's the manager of the team that is buying GitHub. So he's hanging out there, just speaking of like how open source communities work.
Right.
He couldn't let anybody know that Microsoft was going to acquire GitHub because Microsoft and GitHub are kind of like oil and water.
Right.
Microsoft is a bunch of proprietary code.
Right. They don't want people to know their secrets. Right.
They don't want to know what bugs, you know.
But what better way than now you control everybody else's secrets?
That's it. So now they own the source code for all the open source developers.
Very typical of them,
Across the
though,
world.
You know.
And all of a sudden, their operating system got so much better.
Oh yeah.
Didn't it?
Imagine what they're not letting out.
Yeah. Well, if they took that library, the LLM, right, of GitHub, and they threw it into an AI, which I probably guarantee they did, and they said, find all the code errors, make it better, and then apply it to our operating system. or apply it to Windows
Right.
Office.
There you
apply
go.
it to Microsoft Excel, Word. Apply the code changes to all these different code entities within our asset base. I guarantee Microsoft did something like that because their products have gotten so much better.
Right.
Their software is much more stable. You're not seeing the balloon screen of death almost ever, right? So, they definitely did something with that large language model, for
Just
sure.
watch those updates.
I can't
Yeah.
just watch those updates.
Watch those. Wasn't that what it was? Or 360? Everything went down. Was that an
yeah.
update? Somebody,
Well,
what was it? Whatever.
That was the airline update that they had subscribed to a third-party vendor for.
Yeah.
But
Careful.
I don't know. This technology game is.
How do you guys think about that
insane.
too? I mean, Noah and I talk about it, but like AI, how you
Ray,
feel about that?
why don't you talk about your AI class?
Well, I almost think we should come back again to the ripple effect and talk a little bit more about AI.
I would love that. I would love to just do a whole episode
I
about
think
AI.
there's enough material. There's enough to talk about. And
So yeah, maybe we save it. You know
I
what
do.
mean?
We'll save it.
But for you, thumbs up, thumbs down. I mean,
thumbs
obviously,
up. Well,
thumbs up.
How about this? We were talking about earlier, and these younger generations, and with the advent of AI, and now it's right. It's right here before us, and everyone, your 92-year-old grandma can open her phone and she can utilize AI, whether she knows it or not,
Right.
and she can ask a question, and she can get a fairly authoritative answer that's
Yeah.
pretty darn good. And the youth that are coming up that don't understand a lot of the back ends, the work that's involved, well, AI is helping make that easy, and they're able to spin up solutions relatively quickly with relatively little knowledge. Just good prompting and good oversight. AI can do a lot of heavy lifting for them.
Yeah. From there, it's some commitment and hard work, and
Oh, dude, I wrote a whole interface for a partner of ours, a client partner of ours, in about 6 hours, maybe 7, just prompting ChatGPT to give me different code.
really.
I didn't write any of it.
Yeah.
Zero. I plugged in some variable information.
I've been on
That was
Grok
it.
all morning. Just same thing.
Yeah.
Question after question, elaborate, and you're like, man, how fun is that?
I know.
And I mean, look, you may not like the answers.
Yeah.
May not be the answer you're looking for, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know.
That was the other thing, I guess. You're looking at there's all these different AI sources, right? OpenAI, right? ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok.
Yeah.
Everybody's got theirs. We'll come back one day and talk about it. I'd like to go through them a little, but like, what's the most non-biased?
Right.
Now it's like pick your poison. You know what I mean? Like what
Do you
manipulation?
wanna talk to the biased one,
Yeah.
or you wanna
What
talk-
manipulation would you like in your life? Because now it comes in an AI form. You know what I mean?
What
we will-
form do you want?
know?
I want a little manipulation.
Yeah,
a
do
little
you want
more.
liberal, conservative? What are you looking for here? You know what I mean? It's just funny to me. I'm like, man, I'm on there because I've been going back and forth too. I was asking Grok stuff and Gemini, and like all these, it's a fun time, but
Yeah.
even navigating that, you know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
like, man, you could just question after it elaborates on it, whatever you want. It's a fun thing.
It is a fun thing. All right, Ray. I know you gotta.
Yeah.
You gotta scoot out of here. You have a 2:00.
All good. Hey, no, I look forward to our next meeting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, let's let's lock something down, and like I would love to get into it with you, some AI, if that's something. Obviously,
Sounds good.
you had a class. So.
And in the meantime,
Yeah.
I recommend, when you're asking Grok something or
Mm-hmm.
OpenAI, you go and ask another one of these AI engines the same question.
Right.
Compare the results. You've refined it. Now, what does this other engine have to say about this subject? And
Yeah, it's
compare
funny.
the two.
I was
you were
doing that
asking about
today.
those.
I was asking about products. Going into 2025, focused on a certain, female. And it's funny what one told me as opposed to Grok. It's almost like it was a weird dynamic. They were close, but how they ranked them,
Sure.
what they thought was going to be the trendier one, what to stay away from. It was just a funny thing to me.
Very
I could
interesting.
tell that there were politics involved in it, and we'll get more into that. You
Yeah.
know, but that's what I did. I was asking 3 of them today about the same industry,
Oh, my
what to
gosh.
focus on in 2025, and they all, they were. I felt a little biased in there.
Yeah, you can
know?
see a slant on each.
A
of them.
little slant, you know what I mean? And I get it. I know some of it was like I was using like an animal-based product as opposed to an organic product. One's gonna push organic, the other one was okay with
Right.
animal based.
Animal-based.
Granted, you went through some testing, but it was just funny to me. Like one was like stay away from it altogether, and this one's like.
I
open
wonder
to
if
the
you can
idea.
change the
It's
voice
just
of the AI. I mean, we're going to save this for later, but you have to run, right? Yeah. Ray, we'll
Yeah.
catch up to you
My guy.
in a week or two.
It was a pleasure.
Ripple out, everybody.
Thank you, Jim.
Later, guys.
See you guys soon.